Happy Wednesday and welcome to this edition of Cooking with Aimee in Bristol, and I am super glad that you're here. This is a really delicious recipe, family fave at our house. Different variations that can be made. You know that I am known for my tips, Talbot tips. How can we make this recipe a little bit different, or lactose intolerant, add meat, omit meat, whatever you need to do. I love this recipe for the ease of it. I also, normally when I make this recipe, I make a double batch, and that way I could toss it into the freezer. So, a lot will be handling and going on, but today's recipe is actually a spinach and cheese ricotta stuffed, essentially rolled in lasagna noodles. I don't know if you can see them there. They're kind of just laying flat. And then I'm making a bechamel, white cream sauce that we are going to put on top of it. Now, I did at my house have tomatoes that were I didn't want them to go bad. I bought them last week, and because of that, I have made an arrabbiata sauce. What is amazing about this recipe is that you can add a red sauce on top of it, and essentially making a blush sauce if you want. That, as well as a sauce that I keep into the freezer. I store it into little containers, normally like in my 1 cup or my 2 cup prep bowls, and that way when I want to add it to a different sauce, that one is very spicy today. If I want to make it less spicy, I can add it to a different sauce. And again, this is any variation that you want to do. So if you do want that's the arrabbiata sauce. If you would like a recipe for that, hit me up. This recipe and any other recipe that you might want to do, head on over to my VIP page. Would love to see you over there. I actually have something special that's going to start today for Valentine's month. This is a month of love. Clearly I like food, clearly I like to eat, and I'm so glad that you're all here. So we're going to get started actually, and we're going to start with the spinach. So we're going to do the spinach and ricotta and let that cool a little bit before we do the rolls, and then we'll make the sauce. So we're going to do things in a few steps. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to chop an onion. I have started the pan. I'm just going to cut my onion, and you can use any onion that you've got in the house, whatever you would like to do, medium onion of any kind, and I'm just going to peel that. We know Bristol's going to leave because he's not getting any more snacks, and there he goes. Good, I can move the chair. Okay. So I'm going to use my chopper today, my my food chopper. Those of you who have been here a while know how much I love my manual food processor. But what's great about my food chopper is that I can just chop it right on my mat. I can check that, bring it over, and in seconds, I will have got not only my frustrations out, but I also have a chopped onion super fast. So I'm going to add a little bit of oil, about 3 tablespoons. So I'm just going to use a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Oh my God, I'm starting to cry. That onion was strong. About 3 tablespoons. I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of our garlic infused canola oil. Talked about it last week. Absolutely adore it. And then I'm just going to add the onion to the pan. This is why I love my flexible cutting mats, because not only did I cut right on it, but all my onion ends up in the pan, which I love. And I'm just going to stir that around and give the onion some time just to soften a little bit, and just let it cook there in the oil. Holy moly, that was a strong onion. Woo! Crying. I'm going to take some garlic. I'm going to add some garlic to our pan. Okay? Now you can do crushed garlic or minced. The recipe actually calls for crushed garlic, but I want it minced because sometimes the chunk of garlic when I'm eating it irritates me, so I like just to have my minced garlic. So I'm just going to add that to the pan. Oh. Okay. It says to add about 4 to 6 cloves of garlic. For my friend Annie, she's going to add 0 garlic. She has many alternatives to her garlic issue. And again, like I said, this recipe is one of those amazing ones where depending on what you like or don't like, lactose intolerant, all of that can be made adjustable. And this one can also, you can add sausage to it. You can add chicken, shrimp. We're going to keep this one today vegetarian. I'm not really feeling in the meat mood today, and I kind of like this one. I find it really rich. It's got ricotta, mozza, and Parmesan. So, and it's got milk. So it's a kind of heavier in the sense of lots of cheeses in there that I don't find I miss the meat at all. So this one is going to stay solely vegetarian. And just going to again crush my garlic in the bottom of the pan here. You can hear that onion sizzling. I've stopped crying. It's a good Wednesday when I'm crying. Good onion. And, oh, goodness. Oh, this sucker's not cooperating today. I love when garlic is almost, this one looks like it's almost expired. And it's gonna give me grief. There we go. All right, so I've got 6 cloves of garlic in there. Like I said, it said 4 to 5. And you all know how much I love garlic. I never find too much garlic. Yes, Annie, I know. My little Italian friend Annie who's allergic to garlic. Just wrong. So, garlic, onion, a little bit of oil. You can see there, it's just the clearness of the onion, which is just really what we want there. And then I'm going to add spinach. Okay, so that's all I'm doing. Oh, and I want a pinch of salt. So I'm just going to add a pinch of salt to the pan, maybe about 2 teaspoons. And I'm going to add an entire bag, which is essentially almost a pound of spinach. You can use frozen spinach in this recipe as well. I just happen to like the fresh spinach. I'm going to add it all to the pan. Now normally I would tell you to wash your spinach, but this one is a washed spinach. That's why I like this one. And I'm just going to add it to the pan. I'm going to turn the volume or temperature down a little bit. And I'm just going to put the lid on this and give it about 2 minutes, okay? 2 to 3 minutes tops. We just want to soften the spinach. Okay? Smells great. I mean, olive oil, onion, garlic. Smells divine. Okay? So I've now got that on about a medium heat. Just going to take the lid and I'm just putting it on there. This is the 12-inch non-stick stainless steel pan. Comes with the lid, lifetime guarantee. Love it because of the size and the fact that it is non-stick and stainless steel, so it's high heat. Or something like this, really simple. So I love that the versatility of it. It's great. So I've got the onions, the garlic, a little bit of olive oil with the spinach, the 1 pound of spinach in there. I'm going to give it about 2 minutes just to let the spinach soften. Now, again, like I said, if you do want to use a frozen spinach, absolutely. There are times when it's just as easy to take that spinach out. I would suggest thawing it completely, whether it be overnight or soaking it into a sink full of warm water, and then squish the HE double hockey sticks out of it. You want all of the water out of the spinach. So again, rolling it into a mesh bag, or rolling it in cheesecloth, or even a clean dishcloth, whatever you need to do, but just make sure that it's drained. We will be doing that similarly with the spinach. But again, I like to use fresh spinach. I had it in the house. If I didn't, I would have easily, excuse me, I would have easily just used frozen spinach. I am not judging, and nor do we have time to judge anyone else. It's whatever. Okay, so while that's going on there, we're going to get into our glass bowl. And I should note, again, if you've just popped on, the noodles are sitting over there. I've got my strainer and stuff because what I did is I pre-cooked my lasagna noodles, okay? So I just pre-cooked them kind of in an al dente fashion. I just had a little bit of salt into the water, added a tiny bit of oil because these suckers do stick to one another, as we do know. And what I've done is I've just laid them out right now onto parchment paper because we're going to put the spinach and cheese mixture and we're going to roll them in, okay? So right now they're just sitting there. I pre-did them to save time, obviously. So we're going to start with, while that's still going on, we've got another maybe minute before the spinach is done. We're going to take the ricotta cheese, and this is just a really simple ricotta that is already drained. So if you do buy it at Costco, you know, you get that big old pan of it, absolutely. You do want to make sure that your ricotta is drained. Okay, so you've got that, you can see there that it is easily drained. A container works out to be 1 pound, and we need the pound of ricotta. And then I'm gonna add about 2/3 of a pound of mozzarella. So I have already, just gonna give this, okay. We're gonna give this 1 second. Let me just leave this here for 1 minute. The spinach is done. So I just wanna show you there what the spinach looks like. Again, because I wanna let it cool. It's gonna go into the ricotta, and then we're gonna need to put our hands and such in it, so I wanna just make sure it's cooled before we have to have that mixture. So just, I pause for a moment, sorry about that. I'm gonna switch pans out. And now I'm just gonna take my fine mesh strainer, and I am going to squeeze the moisture out of our spinach. Okay. It's already, see there, it's starting to drip. Gonna add that to it. Hope everybody's having a good day. Good day over here. Smells amazing. And on cue, Charlotte's telling you she's having a good day. Okay, so I'm just gonna squeeze the moisture out of our spinach. Just the excess water, I just want to get out of there. You guys see that? And again, this is why I said a cheesecloth or anything else, you want to get the majority of your moisture out of your spinach. And I want to let it cool before I put my hands in it. Alright. So again, I'll just do one more squeeze. You can still see it's kind of going there. I think what I'll do is, I will put it over the sink, and I'm going to let it do its thing over here. Charlotte, please and thank you. I'm just going to let it do its thing over here, just finishing draining. And while that's draining now, we'll grab, again, the ricotta, and I'm going to add about 2/3 of the mozzarella. So I've just shredded some mozzarella, and I'm going to add, just like I said, about 2/3 of a pound. So I did weigh my mozzarella. What are you making? I'm late. Okay, so we are making spinach and cheese cannelloni, but instead of using a cannelloni noodle, I keep wanting to say cannoli. I really love cannoli. Or we're making cannelloni, but instead of using a cannelloni noodle. We're actually going to do rolls on lasagna. We're going to roll those up. Charlotte! Sorry about that, folks. So we're making a roll instead of the actual stuffed noodle. I love this recipe, really, really simple, and it just lays into a dish. It's delicious. So we've got the mozzarella in there. I've got the ricotta. I'm gonna add, again, just a little bit of salt. Okay, just a tiny bit of salt there. And the spinach is now drained enough where we don't need to worry about anything else. And I'm just gonna add the spinach mixture. So it's got the onions, the garlic, and the spinach right in there. And then I'm just gonna mix all that up, okay? So to taste, we just wanna make sure that it has just a hint of salt. You don't want anything obviously too salty, but salt enhances our flavor. And then I'm gonna tell you about the secret ingredient with this recipe. It's actually not that secret, but it's one of those kickers that just enhances this recipe. So you can see there the spinach and the ricotta coming together. I'm just gonna give that a taste. It's got plenty of salt. It's salty enough to me. Keep in mind, ricotta is a little bit of a saltier cheese, so I don't think it ever needs too much salt. And with the garlic and the onion in there, it looks amazing. And now I am going to take 2 beaten eggs. Okay, so I'm just gonna crack 2 eggs. Just adding them to my prep bowl. I love my mini whisk, because it's so easy to do there. And I'm adding the egg to this mixture. And again, that's why you want the ricotta to cool, or the spinach to cool a little bit, is that A, you don't want the egg to actually cook on the hot spinach, and B, making sure pinch to taste, because we're not supposed to eat raw eggs. You don't want to get sick. I've made that before. Yeah, Kelly, it's delicious, isn't it? And this is a fam fave. So again, that's why we do the eggs, and I'm just gonna throw the egg mixture here, and that's just gonna help bind everything together so that once we do put them into the rolls, everything will come together just a little more simply. And there we are. So for those of you who did just pop on, I was saying in the beginning, we're not actually using a traditional red sauce today. I am actually making white sauce, and I am making bechamel sauce. So the bechamel sauce, really, really simple and really easy to do, which we're gonna make in the pan in 1 second once we finish getting this mixture together. Look at that, gorgeous, all ready to go. Noodles are ready to go, so I'm just gonna keep that aside, and we're gonna start the sauce. Now, again, for those of you who just popped on, the bechamel sauce, I'm gonna start now. I had tomatoes that I didn't want to go bad, so I did already make a arrabbiata sauce, which you can add to the top of this as well and kind of make it a blush sauce. But I'm keeping mine simply as a white sauce today, and I'm actually going to start here in the pan with the butter. So I need 8 tablespoons of butter. Oh goodness. Because I'm actually gonna do sauce, I'm gonna make the sauce and not double it, but do an extra half sauce, because again, this is one of those sauces that you can leave in your fridge for a couple days. I love to leave it into the freezer. I do store things in my prep bowls, and then I can add it to other sauces, making it a blush. This is a really, really good and simple sauce. So I need 8 tablespoons of butter. So I'm just gonna do 4 and 4. I believe that's what I said. Yes, I need 8 tablespoons of butter. And that's 4. Just using my measure all cup and adding that to the bottom. I do want it to be melted before I add my flour. I am making essentially a roux and going to get that ready. realizing where is my, oh, I forgot to add the Parmesan cheese to our mixture. I was gonna say, I have my ricotta cheese here, so we're gonna add that to I add some to the pan here, and then I need some for my other, but I didn't write it down. Okay, so I got my 8 tablespoons of butter. While that's going on, I'm gonna put the Parmesan in here that I forgot to add, and the rest of the Parmesan I'm gonna use for the bechamel. Stirring up the Parmesan cheese in there as well. So we got Parmesan, mozzarella, spinach, and I needed 1 cup of Parmesan. I've got 1 pound of mozzarella and 1 pound of ricotta. Just gonna make quite a few noodles, and again, this is a recipe that you can add chicken, shrimp, anything that you might want to add into this, you can. We're keeping this one as a vegetarian. So the butter is just about melted. I'm going to grab the milk, which we're going to add 6 cups of milk. And what I like to do with any of these recipes is I like to heat my milk up, just kind of taking the chill off. So I'm not cooking my milk, I'm just taking the chill off there. Okay? So what's great about my non-stick pans, my non-stick stainless steel, is that I can actually use metal in it, which is great. I need to add about 10 tablespoons of flour to this mixture. So of course my tablespoons are dirty, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this is one of those ones where it doesn't matter if everything is not evenly measured, because you're just making a roux and you want to make sure that the lumps are kind of out of there. And I'm using the deep pan because once we add the milk and the rest of the Parmesan, it will get a bit runny and thick, and I want to have that opportunity to allow it. So you can see there, just the starting of the roux, that's all I need, and then I'm going to add the 6 cups of warm milk. It's not hot, it's just warm. And again, I'm making this recipe as a recipe and a half. I'm just going to add the rest of the ricotta, that's not ricotta, Parmesan into there. And then I'm just going to stir it around. I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper, again, just to taste. And that will get thicker. As it heats up there. So I'm just going to add a little bit of pepper. I'm just going to add a pinch of salt, because again, we've got enough salt going on. And then we're gonna add just a smidge of nutmeg. Okay, so what I normally do is, because nutmeg is so strong, I add just a tiny bit, like maybe 1/4 teaspoon, and stir it up. And as it gets thick, I then, to taste, figure out how much more I need. Because again, as it sits, it's gonna get a little stronger. Take about 10 minutes to thicken. So while that's doing its thing, I'm gonna add just a tiny bit more of nutmeg. Okay, and a tiny bit more of pepper. And then finish stirring that up. And then while this is thickening, we're gonna start the shells. Okay. I just hope it's gonna get a little thicker there. Might have to add a little bit more flour after, but that's okay too. Whew. Okay, so like I said, I already have the noodles ready to go. And I'm just gonna, there we go, move that out of the way. The leftover mozzarella that we do have, we are actually going to add that to the top after we put the bechamel on top of the noodles. We will then add the extra mozzarella. We're gonna bake this in a 350 oven for about 20-25 minutes. Okay, all right. So let me just clear the way here. I do not want any garlic remnants in my noodles. The garlic is already in our mixture. So you can see here, we've been online for about 25 minutes and we've already got our filling done. We've got our sauce almost done. And now we're just gonna stuff our noodles. So a really fast dinner or one of those prep dinners that you can do maybe on a Sunday night, toss it into your freezer and then during the week be able to pull it out. Again, I love this recipe for the ease of it. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna take the noodles, and I'm going to use my large scoop, okay? My large cookie scoop isn't just for cookies, folks. Oh no, it's not. And what we're gonna do is, I am going to use my 9x13 baking stone. Just an FYI, all of our baking stones are on sale this month. I have my own sale on right now. $25 off any stone for the month of February. So that is our large, there it goes. It's starting to get thick here on the bottom. See there, it's starting to get thick. There we go. Just want to make sure we're not burning it either. Okay, so we're going to take our noodles, and I'm going to take one of our large scoops, and I'm just going to scoop out some of the mixture right onto the noodle. I'm going to take one of my all-purpose spreaders, and I'm just going to spread it onto the noodle, kind of so it's about halfway. Okay, you see that there? And then I'm just gonna start rolling the filling right up, and look at how easy that is. Now, when the sauce is done, I'm gonna put some sauce onto the bottom of the pan, then I'm gonna lay each noodle on there. So until the sauce is done, it is getting thicker. So I'm gonna do a couple noodles just to show you guys. And then I will post over on the VI Peeps the finished product before and after it is cooked. Again, this is one of those recipes that you might want to do a bunch of them. Doing maybe even those of us who are a smaller group of people in the house right now, even a smaller dish to make sure that they're done. But look at that, easy as pie. Once we've got all the things going on here, super easy to stuff, a really great recipe that you can double. And again, these freeze amazing. And just roll those bad boys, and you're just gonna continue to roll them there. Now, when the sauce is done, like I said, I'm going to start with sauce on the bottom of the pan, and then I'm going to lay the noodles in, and I'm going to lay them with the seam side down in the pan. That way they stay nice and snug as a bug. And again, for tightness, you don't need them super, super tight when they cook. Like I said, the noodles are already al dente. So when they do cook, oh, this one I was a little overstuffer. There we go. This way, when they do cook, they're just gonna essentially finish off. So this is dinner tonight. Really, really simple to do, really easy to do, and a different variation with the sauce. You can see there the bechamel is getting thicker. This is one of those sauces, like I had said before, you can add some red sauce to it and make a blush sauce. I've got the arrabbiata. You can make it spicy blush, or you can just leave it as this white goodness. So the sauce should be done fairly quickly, and the key ingredient in the sauce is nutmeg. I find it just gives it a nice, interesting flavor, a nice mild flavor to an already incredibly, amazingly easy dinner. This one is also easy if you wanted to add, like I said, chicken, sausage, ground beef, shrimp, or we're just gonna leave them vegetarian tonight. So we are making cannelloni, spinach and cheese cannelloni with a bechamel sauce. So glad you're here. I will post the recipe over in VI Peeps. I hope you come on over there. Love to have you, and would love to see more of you share your favorite things that you do, more of the favorite things that you love to eat, and what recipes you would like. And I'm also gonna ask, what would you guys like to see me cook? I always do some things that I like, but maybe I wanna do some things that you like, or that your grandmother liked, or that your auntie made. I love to share recipes. So I'm absolutely glad you're here. I'm Aimee Talbot, Talbot Tips. What else can I do for you? Love that you're here. Happy Wednesday, and I will post the recipe and the finished product over on VI Peeps.